Hi friends, today we are going to do some baking. We're going to make spring flour cookies. And I'm really excited about this because kids love to bake and cook, and it's awesome to let them in the kitchen because cooking not only is fun, but it builds so many skills. It builds literacy skills, it builds math skills, it builds confidence, and it's really a lot of fun. So parents, you have the opportunity to make it kind of as educational as you want, and I'll share some tips on how to do that while we go ahead and make this recipe. Okay, so I've written out my recipe and I've stuck it up on the wall so that we can access it while we bake. Today we're making a basic cookie recipe, and I love to have this can be used. Today we're going to make it into flowers, but it can be used for anything. So the first thing I do when I work with kids is that I take the recipe from the cookbook and I rewrite it in kid language. And so this visual makes it really easy for the kids to follow along with us. So I wrote out cups and spoons to match the ingredients. And this took me like literally 2 minutes to draw and make, so it doesn't have to be fancy, just a good visual to be able to see what's going on. And so the recipe, I would go through the recipe with the kids. So 2 3/4 cup flour, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon baking soda. Oops, I mixed that up. So 2 3/4 cup flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1 cup oil, 1 cup sugar, 1 egg, and 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. And I made in my visuals, as you can see, it says 2 3/4. So the third one has little lines where I divided it into 4, and I made the yellow going up just till there. And so sometimes with the older kids, we have fun and we do a little bit before. We will cut paper and make it into different pieces to explain this, but really, even if you just talk about it, they're gonna get exposure and take some of it in. And so while we're doing the recipe, it could be fun to use this as the guide and then put in the ingredient and let your child pour it in. So let's start with our flour. 2 3/4 cup flour. So I have my flour in a bag, and I'm going to get my mixer, my 1 cup here, and I'm going to pour it in. And so put 1 cup in the bowl, and I'm going to put the second one in, and the third one is 3/4. So we're going to just show our children that we're not doing it all the way up, but we're going to leave a little bit to make it about 3/4 of this cup. Next thing on our list is 1 teaspoon baking soda. And so this one says baking soda. And it's fun to have your child kind of look at the S over there and see the S on here. And we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And 1/2 teaspoon baking powder. So again, either you can use a 1/2 teaspoon, but I kind of like to use the same one so then the children can see that I'm just filling this halfway, so that they learn about measurement. So take the same one that I put 1 whole one, and now we're just doing about 1/2. Then I'm going to put 1 cup of oil. Gonna pour it and show that it's still the line. I'm gonna put that 1 cup of oil in. And the next thing on my list is 1 cup sugar. So I'm gonna pull out my, this kind of cup. And I already put sugar from a big bag into this cup. So I measured out 1 cup, and you can play around with the sugar. If you want to put 1/2 of that, you can do that too. And then last thing we're going to do is, second to last is 1 egg. And we always check the egg to make sure that there's no blood in it for kosher reasons. So we do a little check, make sure there's no spots of blood in there. And we're going to put it right into the can. You can also kind of just look at it if it's in a clear container, if you don't want to get your fingers all dirty. And then the last thing says 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. I don't have vanilla extract, so I'm just going to use some vanilla almond milk, which is an easy substitute. And I'm going to fill up 1 teaspoon and put it right in. I'm going to mix it up. Let's turn it on. Let's get it all mixed up. And let that go for a minute. Voila, that was quick and that was easy, and the kids can help with every step of the way. Next, I'm going to show you how to make the flour. All right, ready to make our flour. So now we have our dough. which is nice and really easy to work with. This is a really great dough. It's important when you're working with kids that you don't get a really dry dough and then it just crumbles, or a really wet dough, and that way it's really hard to work with. This is a really good consistency for kids. And so what we're gonna do is we are going to take the dough. We'll give your child a piece probably about, I don't know, the size of a little ball. And then you're gonna have your child break it into 1, 2, 6 pieces. 3, 4, 5, 6. And I mean, it doesn't matter exactly. If they do 7 or 8, it's fine too. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the biggest one, you're gonna roll it, put it right in the middle. Then, that's the middle of the flour. Then we're gonna take another one, stick it on the side, just pat it down a little bit, make a ball, turn it into a ball, put your ball next to that one, right there, take your ball, put it next to that one, right there, make a ball, put it next to that one and flatten it, take your last ball, put it next to that one, and there you go. I've got this cute little flower that will, once it's in the oven, it will all attach, and you have this really fun spring flowers. And it's up to you if you want to make some frosting or sprinkles and decorate it, kind of do what you guys like to do. Thanks for baking with me.